All right, this is great. This is great. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, and thanks for having me.
Wow, I tried to do some internet research on you. I couldn't find anything bad, so that's a good sign.
Wow, that's a really good sign. Just don't look too hard.
You're 38 years old.
35.
35. What am I thinking?
That's okay.
30. We were just talking about how far along you are, right?
That's true. I did say about 38 weeks is full term.
Right. So 35, and you've lived in Lansing for how long?
Yep, I moved here in East Lansing in 2014 when I was actually working with Kathy George at MSU Volleyball.
wow.
So that was and Ben, my husband's from Okemos, so that was the big pull.
And you grew up where?
Westland, Michigan is where I went to high school and lived in Southfield for my first 10 years.
And you went to Eastern High School?
I went to Oakland University,
Oh.
but before that, John Glenn High School in Westland.
Yeah, Oakland. See, I'm trying to put this all. Your husband went to Eastern, right?
He did, yes. Yep,
Oakland, and you were an athlete.
I was. I played volleyball there.
And I think you actually listened to some of my podcasts, which is amazing. You're like, the only person.
No way. Hey, I saw that is the one you got a lot of traction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of how long he has
and I
left.
forgot to mention, you're like a influencer, right?
You know, it never was that, I guess, intention, but with the big follower account, I guess, influencing the Smoky Mountains at the time. But
You just got your real estate license,
I did, yes.
and you're managing Airbnbs. Is that what you
I
call it?
do, yep. So, Ben and I,
And
yeah,
how many kids do you have?
I have 2 and 3 and 1 on the way, so almost 3.
Man, how many jobs do you want?
Maybe not this year, but I feel like I say that like I even worked in the schools as a social worker before this, and I was like, I think I'll retire here. And then I resigned. I'm like, well, I think I'll do Airbnbs only. Oh, I think I'll do internet only. Oh, I'm going to not do that. I'm going to do real estate.
But you have
So,
quite a story. So what was it like growing up in Westland?
man, Westland is literally your blue collar, drive down the road. It's rough. It's rough in a lot of places.
Tell me where it is.
Westland is in between Canton and Livonia, and then neighbors like Inkster, Romulus.
In Wayne County?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And it was rough and
What's that mean, rough?
So, like the median income was like $40,000. So everybody's parent worked at Ford or, the manager at the gas station. My mom worked as a receptionist. My dad actually was a realtor in the housing crash of 07, 08.
Oh,
So
wow.
they have a storied, unfortunately, we had to go through a lot of
What's that, 17 years ago? So you would have been like just in high school.
Yep. So dealt with a lot of, I wouldn't call it poverty because that feels like so, but we went without for a lot of things and a lot of payback situations, scholarships.
You have siblings?
I do. 2 sisters.
And are you where do you fall in line?
I'm the oldest.
Okay, so you're kind of the leader of the.
I am.
There's a bunch of memes about the oldest.
That is honestly, that is me. I feel like my mom always says like, you just the justice seeker. And it's like, yes, like, and I never like had to take care of the family per se, but I always was like the protector. Like if my sister, I felt like she was being bullied in high school. We all went to high school at the same time. That was fun.
Oh, so you're close together.
Yeah, we are. So me and my youngest sister are 3 years apart, and me and my middle sister are 22 months apart.
Yeah, so that's the way it should be, really close together.
Yeah, it's fun. It was fun.
Got a lot to fight about, but but you're close together.
Yeah, for sure.
Same friends and at high school, same experiences.
Yep. And my sister was actually able to play varsity basketball with me my senior, and she was a sophomore. So that was
Wow,
fun.
that's great. Mm-hmm. She must be a good athlete too.
Yeah, yeah. She didn't go to college for it, neither of my sisters did, but they both played varsity sports with me.
That's fun. Mm-hmm. So, growing up in Westland, you would have been, so you'd have been 2008. You would have been, 18-ish, right?
Yep, I was, almost 18,
So
17.
in the 3 or 4 years before that, when you're in high school, you're playing volleyball,
Yep. So as a 3-sport varsity athlete,
which is what?
basketball, volleyball, and softball.
And those are all different seasons.
They were. And then when I was in high school, they changed the seasons midway.
Oh, right, with the Title IX
Yep,
stuff.
exactly. So then I went from playing fall basketball then to winter basketball and travel and
And before you made it to high school, were you in club sports, or what did you do?
I started really late in club sports, and in Westland, it wasn't really popular to do that because a lot of kids just didn't have money for those nice travel teams. So we did a lot of recreational sports, but I was like always the tallest everywhere. So in 8th grade,
How tall are you?
6'1", 6 foot.
There you go. Wow.
Yep. And so I've been the same height since I was 14. So
Wow.
I've had like nice height advantage. Luckily, I had some athletic skill to go with that. So sports were always my thing. I'm not very crafty. I'm not very
Because
fun.
it's not like anybody ever says, "Hey, let's go to the park and play volleyball," right?
Right. Because, you have to have like a lot of people to do that. But
So how do you play volleyball if it's not organized in a club sport, or did you just pick it up in high school?
yeah, good question. I started in 5th grade. There was like a recreational team and we didn't rotate the right way. No one taught me how to overhand serve. So I feel like when I got to middle school and I was tall, they were like, "What position are you?" I'm like, "I don't know what positions are in volleyball." I'm like, "I think I'm a setter." And they're like, "Actually, let's have you be a hitter." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And so just people had described me as just that raw athlete that learns on the spot. And that's kind of how I've lived my life. And I'm grateful I do have.
And I guess we had the internet back then, but we really didn't have YouTube for somebody to
Oh,
say,
yeah,
"This is
no.
how you're supposed to play."
Oh gosh, no. Yeah. A desktop computer. I still had dial up. I still
Right.
had to ask my mom to busy up the phone line. So
Right, right.
yeah, we were just going outside a ton.
And so, in high school, did you get recruited?
Yeah, I did. But it was that like during when I was in high school, 2006 to 2009, recruiting, like a lot of people think you can get recruited out of high school and not play club sports, at least then. I know people know that differently now where you have to really play travel to get that
Right.
exposure. But a lot, like even me, I was like, well, if I do really well in high school, and my mom was very honest because we didn't have really any money. And she was like, the only way you can go to college is if you get a scholarship. So we would like research on our desktop computer and find out that you can't go at the time, you can't go Division 1. You can only go Division 1 and get a full ride. If you go Division 2, you can't get a full ride athletic scholarship,
Right.
but you can get like athletic,
Financial aid.
yeah, and
Financial.
in academics. And I wasn't great. I was just okay at that.
Right.
So I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this Division 1 thing as a 14-year-old, I got to go all in, and begged my mom to get on these travel teams. And she's like, we can't afford it. So we would talk with the coaches on ways we could pay back the money
Oh God.
with our income tax return check that my mom would get in April. And I feel like my mom always said yes because she knew I was going to do well at that. And like the track. So to answer your question, did I get recruited? Yes, but not till late. I actually didn't start playing club volleyball until I was 17.
So it's like your junior year or senior year.
Yep. And that's
Yeah.
when everyone's committing. And I didn't play my first team until 17 years old. And that's because we could finally afford it.
And what kind of high school career did you have?
I actually was just inducted to our Athletic Hall of Fame this
Oh,
past
man.
month. And
Good for you. So you must
Thanks.
have had a good team.
yeah,
Was it
we did.
basketball or volleyball or what? Which one?
So I was inducted with volleyball, but they were like, tell us all your accolades. And, I never had this all state title or anything, but I was all region, all conference. And we were competing against like Canton, Plymouth, Walled Lake, really big schools, Livonia, Churchill, Stevenson. So Westland, John Glenn didn't always like kick their butt or anything, but
Right.
we were competitive. So,
And so then you go to Oakland University,
yep,
and where is that located?
Rochester.
Rochester. So big move,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Do
Yes
they
and
have
no.
do they have dorms there too?
Oh, yeah. Dorms, full apartments.
And did you get a scholarship?
I did. Full ride scholarship.
Wow, to play
Yep. To play.
volleyball.
Yep.
And were you just a one sport star in college?
Yes. And I feel like to play any to play D1, say I went with basketball. I feel like at 16 years old, I knew when on my club team there, I started to become a sixth man, which totally fine,
Right.
but I was like that 4 or 5.
Basketball?
Yep. And I was like, I probably can't go Division I and get college paid for because I will have no future. So I was like kind of strategic as I could be at 16, being like, I'm a sixth man. I'm probably not going to go D1. Let's try volleyball.
Why did you want to go to college so bad?
Because at the time we hear college, if you don't have college, you don't have a future. You don't have anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And tell me what it was like when you were in high school, knowing, that your parents, were honest enough to tell you, hey, we're not paying for this.
Literally,
right?
yes.
And you want to get a offer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What was it like when you got your first letter? Did you get recruited by more than one school?
I did. So for basketball, I got recruited by Northern Illinois and Ferris State. That's it.
And Ferris State is Division
II.
Division II, so that would have been financial aid.
Exactly.
Northern Illinois is Division I.
It's Division I. It's in the MAC. It was a great school.
Right.
But I felt like I just didn't feel good enough at the time to play basketball. Like I just saw the writing on the wall.
Too,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. And actively recruited by Eastern Michigan, which is ironic because then I would have met Ben in college.
Wow.
And I feel like God was like, you know what? Brittany at 18, 19 does not need to meet Ben before then. So, got my mistakes out of the way.
Eastern recruited you for what sport?
Volleyball.
Okay.
Yep. And so they were, because I started so late, the coach had told me, we don't have any scholarships. We'd love to offer you a walk-on, but get your ACT score up and then you might have some money.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not that smart. And I feel like I'm running out of time. But what I did on my desktop computer with dial-up, I reached out to every single Division I coach.
Because back then you really had to do your own, recruiting.
Yeah.
You had to do your own solicitation to the coaches.
Exactly. I created a Word document of all my awards that I was getting in high school, and I scanned it on our scanner, and I sent it to every single Division I coach in Michigan. And Oakland University reached out and ended up coming to one of my practices. And after seeing seeing me in a tournament, they were the only one to offer me a full ride scholarship.
And what was that like when you opened up the letter? Because did you know that you were going to get one before you got it?
Yeah. So I opened up,
did the coach call you and say,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to make you an offer?
Yes. So I think I was before. They had really strict rules. He couldn't talk to me at the practice, and he made that very clear in email. Like, I can't talk to you because the NCAA rules. But when I went first on an unofficial visit. So that's where he was like, I watched you at practice. He could tell me a lot of feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So unofficial just means you haven't signed yet, and this is legal, and you can tour the campus. And then Rob Beam, actually, he's in real estate now, works in EXP Realty, which is crazy in itself, just small world. But now he offered me in his office, and he said, we'd love to offer you a spot and give you a full ride scholarship. And I remember, I was about to cry, and I just remember my mom grabbing my leg and almost like we wanted to play the game, like, let's maybe not tell him right away and this and that. And I'm like, what other options are there? So we called him maybe 2 days later, and we're like, we accept. Like me and my mom.
That's great. That had been a great moment.
It was. And at the time I was a little hesitant because Oakland was 1-25 the previous year.
In volleyball.
So I was like, well, I know I might play my freshman year, which is cool. I don't really care at this point. I have a full ride. But Rob was a new coach, and he's like, we have these great recruits coming in from Chicago, Illinois, which is a huge volleyball hub, Sports Performance, which actually Kristen Kelsey from MSU Volleyball is from. Right. So big volleyball hub there. And I was like, sweet, that sounds great. It's like, I'm going to commit with you anyway. But we ended up being the winningest senior class since the history of the program.
Wow.
So he really turned the program around. He had an NCAA berth the year after I left. But
what did you know what you wanted to study at Oakland University?
Yeah, I went in wanting to be a nurse, but I knew I hated blood. I knew every time something scary or gory came up on the TV, I would turn away. So that's probably not my track. And like I said, I had like a 3.5, a 3.1 to a 3.5 in high school, but to
Wow.
be a nurse, you have to be like super astute. And I just knew I wasn't that. So having where I grew up.
3.1 to 3.5. That was better than what I did. I'm
Oh,
sure.
well, that's great. I had a 19 on the ACT, which I think at this point you get your name on it.
I had a 20. I don't average. I was right on average.
Hey, that makes me feel better because here we are. No, but yeah, and so I knew from my my dad got into a lot of legal trouble, as I mentioned to you, when I was in high school also. With drinking, and he's now sober. We did the Dr. Phil thing later, and
Wow.
I, just not want. I knew I wanted to help people, not being a nurse, but then
Right.
social work. It's kind of like, maybe I'll get into social
So
work.
the middle part, you don't have to
Yep.
see the blood, but you can still be like a guiding hand.
Exactly. Yep. And kind of, I realize this now. I probably got into social work to kind of figure out what the heck happened in my own life, but.
What do you mean? What happened?
I've always from a kid, I think, I've always had a great memory or just making connections and just patterns. And I always wanted to understand, why did my dad choose this route? Why did my parents do the things that they did? Even though they're both amazing, especially now, both amazing and have an amazing relationship with them. But I always wanted to figure everything out.
It's tough when one of your parents gets in trouble, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't really understand it, and it's difficult to comprehend. You think the world's coming to an end.
Exactly. And alcohol was the big catalyst of that. And, I was told as an athlete, don't drink, it'll ruin your life. You're going to get in a lot of
Right.
trouble. So I really did never drink in high school. College was a different story. I had freedom, I had
Right.
everything else. But yeah, alcohol being the catalyst of my dad's downfall at the time it was hard to wrap my head around because I had never done it. But, yeah, he got just a few too many DUIs in the process.
I mean, there's a lot of people that have succumbed a lot worse to alcohol, and
Yes.
getting a DUI is not necessarily the end of the world, one or two, but it can be a crusher on the economy of a family.
100%. And yeah, and a segue to even deeper things that if you don't deal with it, it affects kids and affects
Right.
futures. And I think I had mentioned to you on the phone, there was just one point where I thought my dad, I was 27, thought he was going to die. His girlfriend called me and told me what he was looking like. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to call Dr. Phil. I wrote this 250 character story of why Dr. Phil should choose us to be help my dad. He's
Right.
dying. And they ended up calling us. And a week later, we flew out to LA and my dad is sober. He went through a treatment program in Malibu. And it was it was so fun for him. And
That's great.
Yeah.
We obviously, our office represents a lot of people with OWIs or
oh,
DUIs.
100%.
And, often in sports, you often talk about, let's not worry about the results, let's talk about the process.
Sure.
Right? And a DUI is a result,
Yeah.
The question is, what are you doing with your life?
Yes.
What is the process? And a lot of people have come into my office and said, I didn't eat, or I didn't sleep, or, and I always kind of want to say, well, what about the 3 shots you did in the
Yeah. Right.
in the 5,
Yeah.
so that the idea is, what's really terrible, is the being around somebody who's drunk all the time for a young kid,
Yes.
Now that he's sober, you're probably best your relationship has ever.
Yes. And when he got sober, he only had 1 grandchild and now he has 8. And so
Wow.
we've been able to just give them, our kids, the papa that we never thought we would have.
Three daughters, you put them into the poorhouse a bunch of times over if you got if all three of you got married.
Yes, right. Yes. And we chose really good men because at the time my dad wasn't in a place to honestly be around us. But he was able to come to our wedding and things. But man, our husbands, me and my sisters and our husbands, they've seen a lot, been through a lot with us, and they're rock
Great.
stars.
That's
Yeah.
great. So tell me what it's like going to Oakland University, being a D1 athlete.
Yeah. When you live in Michigan, a lot of people like still don't know, even who've lived there their whole life, like, where is Oakland? And tell me about it. Or it's a smaller campus, 20,000 people, but
was it
commuter.
part of Michigan State at the time?
It was not.
It wasn't.
No.
Because Michigan State had an affiliation in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah. Some of programs still do. I noticed, like Michigan State was a part of the social work program, for example, but not as much anymore. Going to Oakland as a D1 athlete was amazing because the only people that lived on campus were the athletes.
Oh, really?
And I got to go to school actually with, Lansing native here, Drew Valentine, good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And
Sexton grad.
yeah, I got to meet Denzel as a teenager when he would come visit Drew, and got to meet Mr. Valentine, Coach Valentine, and
Carlton.
yep. And got to meet a lot of Okemos people, like Travis Bader. He's from Okemos.
right,
Yep.
right.
Matt Domogowski's from Okemos Golf.
Right.
And so it was funny when I met Ben, who's from Okemos, but he went to Eastern. When we started talking and dating through a mutual friend, he came up to visit me once. And he's like, these are all my friends from high school. But going to Oakland was awesome because all the athletes lived on campus. You're like truly one big dysfunctional family. And I'm not going to say like house parties were fun, but truly like you have like a brother-sister relationship by the end of it because no one was transferring either. There wasn't NIL on the
Right.
table. The transfer rules too, you had to sit out a full year. Everyone just kind of went. And if you did transfer, it was either obvious or a really big reason why. And we just had like the same, and in my class especially, we had the same 5 girls. And in the class above us, the same girls. And so
Is that how many? Is that how many people are on the court on the floor at the same time? 5 for volleyball.
6.
6.
Yep. And about 14 on the team.
It's 14, and volleyball is like a cult, isn't it?
It can be. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you see Mike Nichols or know Mike Nichols at all. Do you know the lawyer Mike Nichols at all?
Don't.
He's like the
I have to.
volleyball dad, but his daughter plays for Lansing Catholic. They travel, and it's insane how much they, like we have volleyball courts all over, but they're always traveling here and there, Indiana, Kentucky.
Yes. And it's funny you mentioned that when cult, I'm like, yeah, the club sports too, especially.
All
so
of them
that
are.
makes
All
sense.
of them. All
yes.
of them are.
And honestly, club at this stage, if you don't start at 9 or 10, you might not have a spot when you're 14.
Isn't that crazy?
It's scary because, of course, like I want my daughter, if she loves volleyball, and it's like, I'm like, I don't want to start her too soon to make her hate it. And
so they're 1 in 25,
yeah,
right? And you come in as a freshman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't want to say you're naive, but, you're it's not like you've been to colleges all over the country, right? You hardly did club sports.
Yep.
You're sort of a high school girl, and right?
Yes.
I mean, that was a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
And now all of a sudden, you're playing Division I, and Oakland travels.
Yeah.
Tell me what league they're in.
They were in the Summit League. Now they're in the Horizon, but the
Okay.
Summit League had South Dakota State, North Dakota State, Southern Utah. We went all over the country.
And the sport is in the fall, right?
Yep.
Okay, so a couple weeks in, you're probably practicing in August, right?
Yep. We had
right out of the box.
yes, August 8th or 9th usually, first week of August, and 2-a-days always.
And so that part, the volleyball part, you kind of know, right?
Yeah, until the bigger, faster, stronger 21-year-olds,
Yeah, you're competing against
Yeah.
everybody, but you
Yes.
kind of get the idea of, okay, this is volleyball and these people are good and I get it and I know what the practice is.
Sure.
But then you have the academic side,
Oh, God.
right? You have to go to class and
Yes.
traveling, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And tell me what that's like, as a freshman, you're away from home, although only, not even an hour, right?
Sure. But yeah, you can't go home whenever you want. Rarely.
Did you have a car?
Not until my junior year. So I
Right.
did not.
Didn't have a car.
Didn't have a car.
Did you have a fake ID?
Not yet.
At some point?
Not freshman year.
And so what was that like? Like, did you start your freshman year?
So that's where I feel like my biggest growth moment was because, coming from a high school that I did so well, I was so storied. I never sat the bench in anything.
Mm-hmm.
I came in, I had an okay preseason. I was learning a lot, learning how to block as a middle blocker. So basically, if there's 3 hitters in the front row, my main duty is to get out to the pins, the outside or the right side hitter, as fast as I can. And that is the hardest skill, in my opinion, for someone to learn, especially me, who was kind of new at volleyball. So the first tournament, we went to West Virginia. Amazing. The Mountaineers, huge stadium, Morgantown. It was gorgeous. And I don't think I expected to play, but the reality when I went to that tournament and cheering teammates on from...
It was just one team, right? They don't take 2 teams? Or...
Correct. Yep. Just one team.
Right.
And then from Oakland. And then it was a tournament style. So we
West
had like
Virginia,
three other
what
teams
league are
there.
they in?
They were in the Big East at the time.
Yeah, so big league, right?
Yeah,
Considered, right?
Yep.
And I assume the other teams were bigger schools or not?
They were, I would say, mid-major. I think Towson was in there.
Okay.
Canisius, I think the name of it.
Right. So it's 4 teams, and is it a round robin?
It was how volleyball tournaments work. You think you hear tournament, you just play each other one time, and honestly, whoever does the best wins the title.
So it's like a round robin.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so did you play?
No. And it was heartbreaking.
Really?
And what I did at the time, so now I
And
graduated.
who was your coach?
His name's Rob Beam.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So I graduated from that desktop I told you about, and I had a laptop now. So I remember when I did
in college, you got a laptop.
Yep,
right?
my first laptop, and I didn't play. And I Googled how to win a joust at the net because I had a really embarrassing moment in practice. So I didn't play in that tournament, had an embarrassing moment at practice where my coach threw up the ball. It's kind of like a jump ball, but like you're fighting, blocking at the same time. And my coach threw up 3 to 4 balls, and I lost in front of the team 4 times in a row, where the ball falls back on my side. And I even think one of the times I fell back on my back because the other person in my spot was just bigger, faster, stronger.
Right.
And so at that night, I went home and I was like, how to win a joust. Footwork. I would work on my footwork in my dorm because I just hated the feeling of not playing. So the second tournament comes up at our Oakland Arena, and we hosted Wright State, we hosted Toledo, and our other athlete in my spot per se wasn't doing great at the time, and so coaches just subbed me in at the very last game. I got my first kill. I never will forget my first kill, so that's just the first spike, first hit, and I never sat after that.
Wow.
And it was like 2 full weeks of, I don't know, 16 practices where, and now I say like I can relate sometimes now with people who, like I had that feeling and I hated it so much that I did everything to break out of it because I hate feeling uncomfortable. So I have
The feeling of being on the bench.
Yes, and being looked at as not good enough. And it like truly exposed all of my worst fears.
But there's 6 people and 14 people, and the 6 people on the court, 14 people. So 8 other people were sitting there.
Literally. And that's, what I was going to say.
I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, you're still part of the 1% of the 1% to be a Division I athlete, right?
Exactly. I
But
know.
that was still defeating.
Heartbreaking. I know, and I was going to say that's why I have so much respect for people who truly embrace that role, whether they get called on their junior year to play full time
Right.
or if they are a walk on the entire time and just support the team. It's like that is such a hard road to go through and mental, and I just could not do it at the time. And
I'm fortunate sometimes to be able to go to basketball practice at MSU, and I always root for the scout team to, whenever they can score. I mean, the coach's son from Nebraska, I can't think of his name, Foyberg or well, anyway, he was at Michigan State and he played with Steven, and he would light it up, and Steven Izzo would light it up. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fun to watch. You know,
Yes. Yes.
they didn't like it, but that I was cheering like
Right, for sure. And now Nebraska volleyball, they're considered the best team, and none of their girls transferred this year.
wow.
And if they would have transferred, they could play for any other team in the country. But like,
they ate our backups.
yep, and they just embrace the role. And I wish I had that personality trait. Even now, it's like I can't sit still unless I'm achieving like the most or the best. Or
What was the social life there at Oakland?
well, with the
So
athletes,
apparently you started drinking.
I did. I had that's the hard part of like not drinking when you're told not to, like following the rules,
Right.
because then when you see it all around you, I had no idea what all these terms were. They were like, "Do you need a chaser?" I'm like, "What the heck are you talking about? Like chaser?
Right.
Like why does this taste? And also like why does this alcohol taste so bad? Like you guys
Right.
like this?"
Right.
Had my first beer and I spit it out. I'm like, "This is wild." But then you're also not taught any limits and the dangers of alcohol and drinking too much and when you should stop. And luckily I didn't get it myself, as you mentioned, into too much trouble or at anything storied about me. But, you know, you make some bad decisions, regrets in the morning. And
Rochester's a fun town to be in.
it is, especially when you're of age. So I got to experience, you know, Main Street, downtown Rochester, went to Royal Oak a lot, Detroit. So that was a lot of fun.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, you're academically you're studying to be a social worker,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're playing on the team. You make it into the starting lineup or
I did.
on your freshman year.
Yep. So my second tournament of my freshman year.
Yeah, and then you played for 4 more years.
I did. Yeah.
Wow.
And we still would have like JUCO transfers that would come in. That would be really, really good. And so I still, every year, still felt like I had to compete really, really hard. And then it was probably senior year that
In
I'm like,
addition to playing volleyball, are you working out?
yeah, I mean, just following all of the weightlifting programs and everything over the summer. It's a full-time job.
Tell me what that would look like.
Yeah, and I was one of the only ones that lived local, so within an hour away of the university. A lot of people, we had some Californians, Illinois, Iowa, so we would get a program for over the summer, and I was expected, like voluntold, to come up and make sure I'm working with our strength and conditioning coach. And you can't really just take days off, and you also want to take credits sometimes in college to just towards your degree and then working. And so my social life was kind of Saturday nights, sometimes after games in season.
Right.
Hate to admit that, few and far between. And then off season, just probably Fridays and Saturday nights too. So it was very limited, which I'm grateful for in a sense.
When did you meet Ben?
My junior year.
Okay.
Yep.
What was going on before
Oh
that?
God. It was.
Did you see other people?
Oh,
before Ben.
Yes, I had this traumatic breakup with a Oakland baseball player. And if he's
right.
listening, I think we're on okay terms. But I dated him for 2 years at Oakland, and having Oakland be so small, there would be ways I found out that he had cheated on me, and I was devastated. And you see these people in the training room, you see them in the weight room, and you know, your team's trying to comfort you. My coach is mad as hell. He's like, because I found out when we were playing Ball State University that my
Big rival.
yes, my ex-boyfriend now obviously has cheated on me with a girl he met over his summer baseball. Like, what is that movie with Summer Catch? Like that was his story while he was
Right.
dating me. So anyway, I found that out my sophomore year, stayed because that's what I feel like all girls make the mistake on doing. And I'm like, we can make this work. I can change him. He's, you know.
Right.
So junior year, my best friend from Eastern texts me. I'm at the University of Iowa. We're about to play Iowa. And I get a text on my phone and she says, it was like 3 a.m. She texts me this. I met the perfect guy for you. And mind you, I'm on a break with this guy from Oakland because I literally can't get out of it. I felt like I couldn't leave, at least, I don't know, just emotionally. And I write back in all caps. I go, no baseball players. And she's like, he plays baseball here at Eastern.
Yeah.
I'm like, No, absolutely not. And she's like, I promise you, like, I'm actually into his, she says, I'm into his best friend, but I met Ben and he reminded me so much of you and I'm going to give him your number. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to deal with that. So I remember getting this number from a 517 number, which I'd never seen in my life,
Right.
even being from Michigan. I'm like, what is this foreign number texting me? And he's like, hey, this is Ben. I met your friend yesterday at the bar. And
Text the next day.
text the next day. But it was actually, I've learned later, his best friend texting for him because he felt the same way because ironically, he was on a break exiting from a volleyball player at Eastern.
Wow.
It couldn't be more crazy because Eastern was the first one to recruit me for volleyball.
Right,
so
right.
I think now, if I went to Eastern, met Ben, like what a insane world. So we texted. I was terrified to call him for a
What
week.
year would this have been?
This was 2011.
Okay.
So I was 20. I had X's on my hands when I met Ben. I can't drink at the bar.
Oh, right.
And we had two.
You didn't have a fake ID then?
At this bar we went to, we made it purposeful that we didn't have, they let everybody in, 18 and up.
What bar was that?
It was Theo's in Ypsilanti.
Okay.
Yep.
So you drove there to see him.
I did. And he almost didn't come out that night because I don't think he believed, wait, you're here? I'm like, I didn't want to say, yes, I'm here to meet you actually. But he's like, okay, I'll come out. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Right.
So I even had, we could only call each other after 9 too, after that, because
Why?
that was the cell phone rules at the time, because you're on the family plan, you only get a certain amount of minutes per month.
You didn't have unlimited whatever
Right.
data.
Didn't have smartphones. So we texted so many times and eventually ended up calling him after we met. But his mom told me this on our wedding day. She goes, I always wanted to tell you this, but when you met Ben, he called me the very next day and said, Mom, I met the girl I'm going to marry.
Wow.
And didn't share that with me until my wedding day. But I remember meeting Ben. We talked in the corner for 4 hours. People tell us to this day, we were just nose to nose. And he offered to drive me back to his apartment. And I was terrified he was going to ask me to stay because I'm like, I don't want to make this decision. I'm like, if he does ask me to stay, what am I going to say? And then even in the car, he didn't even go in for a kiss goodbye. And I was so grateful. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. The old fashioned, and his best friend's in the back seat, come on, do it. And I'm like, there'll be plenty of time for that.
His best friend is in the back seat?
Yes, just chirping. And he's still the same personality this day, a catcher for him at Eastern. So anyway, I met Ben through a mutual friend and Ben was playing baseball. And I said, literally, no baseball players. I don't want anything to do with it. And we are here married after 10 years.
So
2 kids.
You started dating and that was it?
We started dating and never looked back, never had any of those breaks, those infamous breaks, of course.
So then it's your junior year. And what are you saying, the senior year was the winningest year in Oakland history for volleyball?
Yeah, well, by our senior year, we had passed the record for wins. And so our class, our senior...
For the 4 years?
Yep.
Okay.
And I still think we hold that record of cumulative wins.
Really?
Yep. And so it was really fun after meeting Ben my junior year because we had so much fun together. We'd go out to the bars together. He'd get to know my team. He had a team. I got to meet all the Eastern fun soccer girls. We were driving back and forth from Rochester to Ypsilanti.
How far is that?
It's about an hour and a half. And my coach,
really?
My coach would have 6 a.m. waits. So I would leave Ypsilanti at 4 a.m., get there. And sometimes.
Well, why would you be spending the night in Ypsilanti?
Exactly. I guess it worked out. And he'd know, him and my assistant coach would be like, she came from Ipsy this morning, based on how I performed. But Ben and I, and then he was in season. So sometimes we'll go 2 weeks without seeing each other. He actually played a stint of professional baseball.
He plays colleges both in the fall and the spring, or just in the spring?
His regular season is in the spring.
Right. And do they play in the fall at all?
They do have fall ball, so sometimes they'll scrimmage maybe with other teams.
Right. But yours is just in the fall. Volleyball is just in the fall.
We did have a spring season too.
Oh, really?
Yep. So we'd play a lot of Michigan teams. So we'd host a lot of, in
like exhibition?
Yes. So we weren't allowed to play D1, can't play D2 unless it's exhibition, at least at the time. And so we'd host a lot of in-house teams.
Right.
So
What and you graduated what year
2013.
with a social
Yep. Bachelor's in social work.
work? And what are you going to do with that?
Exactly. You couldn't do anything with a bachelor's,
Right.
you know? And so in the spring, my senior year of college, I was like, okay, the only way I'm going to make a living is if I can make over, I don't know, $50,000 by going into the medical route of social work or the schools. And both ones you had to have your master's degree. So I was like talking to my coach, I'm like, I don't have money to afford anything. My family doesn't. So what can I do? So I applied for a graduate assistantship around the area, and Wayne State has a great social work program. So I interviewed with the head coach at Wayne State. I got to be an assistant coach, also considered a GA, and that paid for my
Like
master's.
$600 a month or something, right? Is that
Yeah.
did they pay you?
I think I got a little, maybe closer to, it was more like 800. So I was like,
800,
I
wow.
am making so much money right
Right.
now.
What did you do about rent?
I lived with my mom. I ended up, I lived kind of like a triangle. So I paid my friend $300 to crash with her and her boyfriend at her apartment sometimes. Then if I had a really late class night, I stayed with my mom in Westland, which Detroit to Westland's only about 20 minutes. So I like drove in a triangle. And then at the same time, Ben was playing professional baseball. And then when he quit that after a year, he was back in East Lansing. So then sometimes I go to East Lansing.
Where was he playing professional?
In an independent league where it's like Schaumburg. I couldn't tell you the mascot.
Schaumburg, Illinois.
Yeah. And so he had some team. There was
Right
some,
on 94 or something,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
and there's some teams in Cleveland. It was an independent indie ball.
And so you're a grad assistant for volleyball.
Yep.
And
And
how long did you do that?
I only did it for a year until I got the call from Kathy George at MSU
And
Volleyball.
how did you get that call?
Because Ben is best friends with the George family. So Kathy, Jerry, TJ, Connor.
Yeah.
And so now it's so funny because TJ and Connor are both in real estate. Connor's in lending.
right.
So we all get to work together all the time.
Right.
It's a lot of fun.
And so you come up to Michigan State, and how long do you work with Kathy George?
I was only there for, I would say, 9 months.
And you were not a GA, you were
Yep. I was the director of ops. It was truly,
explain that to the listeners.
yeah, director of ops of anything is, I learned, it truly is the hardest job I ever had, but in the best way. You're thrown into, the Power 5 conference of, the Big Ten, and you're playing all these teams. We played Stanford and going down to Alabama, and I was in charge of the transportation, the budget, the airplanes, the tickets, the hotels, the production of a home game, making sure everything's running accordingly. To come into that at 23 years old, it was a culture shock.
Yeah.
But I also got to work with the boosters. I got to network with so many great people. And luckily Ben's family, the Magsig family, is really well connected. And I wasn't even a Magsig at the time yet. We hadn't got married, but
wow.
I'd be able to like connect using that. And it felt really scary and lonely at times, but the people I met at MSU, and Kathy is a great boss to work for. And she did so well at MSU because she's tough and she requires your best. And she had that with her coaches. She had that just with her players, support staff, and myself.
But a lot can go wrong.
A lot did go wrong. Yes.
On your end. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
we've heard the things that have happened to the men's basketball team where the buses break down, or the plane can't go. Or they gotta bring a bus back.
100%. We were leaving Iowa and our plane could not de-ice, and we had to drive home from Iowa. And it feels like it's always all my fault. Like it felt at the time, this is all my fault.
Right.
We were at Penn State once and the breakfast wasn't out on time, and there was a miscommunication on what we wanted. So it wasn't oatmeal, it was scrambled eggs. And, tensions are high. We're playing the number one team in the conference.
Right.
And
You want the right breakfast.
exactly. And then when, it's a snowball effect. So coaches are worried if we don't have the right breakfast, the team is going to suffer if the schedule is off. So I remember being at Penn State, hearing, feeling, getting ripped a new one about that. And then I'm going back up to my room sobbing because I'm like, and, I didn't have service. So you're in the middle of Happy Valley with no cell phone service. So I can't even call to get a Panera. And, they're like, can you get a Panera? I'm like, there's no Panera around. Well, look it up. Well, I don't have service. And then it's truly, the world feels like it's crashing. But looking back, it's like, wow, that really didn't matter at the time, but really builds character. It does.
Yeah. So, man, where do you go from there?
So I made the decision for myself. It was a great experience, like I said, building that character, that resilience, but there was so much stress I couldn't handle. And I also knew I didn't want to be in college athletics forever. Mm-hmm. And I also left Wayne State not finishing my degree. So I was like, you know what? I want to get into the trajectory of my life. I know that Big Ten volleyball is not it. Coaching is not it. Being a admin even is not it. So I went back. I lived with Ben. I didn't live with him yet because our parents are very strict, and they were like,
"But if you're spending the night."
Exactly. I know, right? I'm like, we could save money doing this.
They're not that strict if you're in Ypsilanti when you're in college.
I know it. So I ended up finishing my degree just by going to Wayne State. So I said bye to, coaching volleyball there, director of ops, and I finished school, and I started in the Ingham ISD of schools, and then I became a parapro.
Say that again?
So I started with the Ingham ISD.
Oh, that's where you started.
Yep. Yeah. I was a parapro at Bennett Woods Elementary in Okemos.
Oh, really?
Yep.
When did you do that?
That was that same year in the fall. So 2014 is where I really started my career.
That's like $10 an hour or something. Was it 20?
I think it was $9.25. Yeah. And then
but those are extremely important positions.
100%. And I knew, and it's funny, I met the principal at Douglas J. as Ben got me like a gift card for Christmas, and I got my toes done. I'm like, so where do you work? And she's like, I'm the principal actually at an elementary school. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in social work school. I'm looking to work in the schools. So I reached out to her. I'm like, if you have a job as like a paraprofessional or anything, like a helper in the school. And then I got my foot in the door that way.
And Ben's doing real estate?
Yes. Yep. And he played pro ball for a year. Got his thumb injured. He's also not making very much. Those guys only make $800.
Terrible.
Yeah, horrible. And they pay for all the lodging. It doesn't. But he's like, you know what? I'm not making any money. And then he cashed in his bonds from his grandparents that were $250 that he got as a baby for his real estate course because didn't have any money.
Gonna get his license.
Yep. And so then he became a realtor. And now.
And when did TJ George was maybe just behind him, right?
Yeah. So TJ is 1 year younger than me. So 3 years younger than Ben, I think.
Yeah. So he would have gotten his license, 18 or 17? Or...
Yeah. Yep. Right. I think 2 years after.
And so you're working at Bennett Woods, right? How long did you do that?
I was only there about a full year until I finished grad school. And then I was all open to, what's my first social work job going to be? Right. And that was Weberville Schools.
And what did you do there?
I was the K-12 social worker. So I would get a call in the preschool that a kid was destroying the room. And then I get a call on my cell phone that unfortunately an 18-year-old got in a fight and they need me to talk her down. And so that was a very emotional, chaotic job as well.
Yeah.
But
were you still playing volleyball?
I didn't play any indoor, didn't pursue it professionally after, but I picked up beach volleyball and was considered professional beach volleyball player.
Really?
Yes.
Tell me what that means.
Yeah.
Considered by who? By yourself?
I didn't. So how beach volleyball works, especially in Michigan, I was 26. So I was kind of older than what, that trajectory of like
working at Weberville.
Working at
not
Weberville.
Married.
Yep. Just got married in 2015.
Okay.
So I just wanted to play again. So I
was Drew here then?
Yeah. And yes, he was. I feel like
Yeah,
me,
because
him.
Denzel was here in 2015,
Yep.
2016, I think.
Yeah. There was the time too I saw Travis and Drew at Harper's and we are like, oh my gosh, the squad's back together.
Travis.
Bader.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it was a nice little Oakland reunion.
Right.
But I wanted to play volleyball again and I had to learn beach volleyball. It's totally different rules than indoor.
Is
And
it 2-on-2?
yep, 2-on-2. So I had to get into way better shape also than what I was. And then got good enough, qualified enough to enter these big tournaments. And they weren't like the biggest. So you see like Olympic beach volleyball and you
Right.
see it on TV. That was like the highest stage. And there was one stage below that where you can compete and it's under the same umbrella, but get paid maybe a couple $1,000s if you win. And entered a couple of those
Who
tournaments.
do you play with?
Just people from around Michigan. Lansing's
really?
not huge for beach volleyball, so I do still go to Grand Haven a lot and play. A lot of girls on the east side in Detroit
But I
play.
mean, whoever your partner is going to be a big factor on whether you're going to get paid, right?
100%. And so I've had great partners. One or two that really I won with and did well with, and we
Do they
traveled.
get co-ed? Were there co-ed teams or just
There were, but the highest competition ones I would say is women's and then men's divisions.
okay? And how much money were you making doing that?
Oh, nothing really. I mean, it was like I was working full time but there was a season I was in the green, I would say several thousand that under in my pocket for winning tournaments.
Right.
And that was fun. You know, traveling the world. Not world, oh my gosh, just the Midwest and maybe Florida a couple times to do that.
And can I ask a personal question?
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah.
What do you wear?
You know,
I mean, what were they wearing at these like non-Olympic?
oh yeah, we still wear like the whole bikini set, you
Oh,
know.
really?
Oh yeah, it's just a lot easier to move and honestly when you're in the beach,
Like not shorts?
you know, some do, but when you're on the beach in the sand, literally like you sweat on your arm, like you are caking sand off of you and it affects the way the ball travels, it affects a lot. And so like bikinis for women and board shorts for men are the way to go.
And the net, how high is that?
I want to say 7.5 feet almost. So what I love about
Is
women's,
it the same height as like indoor?
yes. So what I love about playing women's and not co-ed is like my game changes dramatically in co-ed because I can't just the trajectory of the ball changes, my arm swing changes because the net's so much higher. Because in
Okay.
co-ed, it's a
Oh.
men's net. So in women's, I can really like be my true former college self.
Dominant?
Yeah.
Dominant?
Yeah. And so, and also since I'm the blocker, you have to get a defender. So we call them littles where they pass the best, probably set the best too, and they're in the back court while I'm at the front blocking. So it's definitely very strategic with beach volleyball.
Same size court?
Actually, no.
Because 2v2 you got.
Yeah, I think it's in 6 more feet on each side.
Okay. And I played a little bit of beach volleyball.
Oh.
Actually, Michigan State, my sophomore year, put in some beach volleyball courts
Oh,
like,
nice.
between Case and Wonders. It was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't 2v2, and it wasn't, but it would be like pickup.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It's addicting. Volleyball is addicting.
Yeah, I mean, in back then when I was there, the spring term went to June, like late into June.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we
fun.
had nothing to do but
For sure.
play volleyball. We certainly weren't going to class.
But look at you now.
Right. So athletics has been a big part of your life.
It has.
Especially if I look at your social media, you spend a lot of time working out.
I do. Yeah. Maybe
mean,
not as
that's a-
much being pregnant now, but
Yeah,
I
but
do.
I mean, over the course of the last decade, that's pretty regular. And where do you find what's your regimen? Like,
Yeah, you know them, the Abramowskis.
yeah,
Ariel, she's changed my life. So I started with CrossFit. So I came out of college wanting something really competitive and fun and high energy. And though CrossFit is great. I saw a lot of success like in my body from it. I just felt like there was a time where I'm like, I'm not like my body, I don't sometimes feel like what I'm putting in is coming out. And then so when I met Ari, she's like the bodybuilder queen, nutrition queen, but silent about it, you know? And I was like,
M43?
yeah, I'm 43 Fitness.
Right.
Yep. And Ari and I have become really best friends. And I was like, how do I look like you though? And she's like, you just got to slow it down. So my whole regimen has changed in regards to, I used to be just like, come on, let's do burpees. Let's get on the floor. Let's do this. But now I just lift as heavy as I can. I'm in my thoughts. It's very like therapeutic too, because now I'm balancing a ton. You know, I have three kids almost,
Right.
and having businesses and managing with the husband and life. And
Right.
I'm just able to sit there and not, sometimes people are like, I don't want to think when I work out. But honestly, it's nice because
Like going for
it
a
feels
walk.
good. Yeah, exactly. And so my regimen is making sure I'm just moving because I feel so much better when I do. And when I don't, everyone feels the ramifications
Right,
for
right.
it. And honestly, I got addicted to the process when I would see the transformations happen from years and doing certain things. It becomes addicting in a sense of like, wow, I controlled that. Like, and you build discipline over time doing it.
And you, are you still playing volleyball?
I don't as much as I would love to, but I
Because
do.
really, it's not like, it's not like pickleball, right?
Right.
It's not like you can go get the bunch of moms and go play a pickup game of volleyball.
Exactly.
You do have to have a certain amount of physical,
Yes,
technique. Otherwise, the ball's never coming back over the net.
exactly.
Right?
And the highest in Michigan where I can get there. So I play a lot on the West Coast where we go to
West Coast meaning
Grand Haven.
right,
And so I'll drive out there. You know, it's an hour, almost a 2-hour drive.
right.
Play for 2 hours, rinse off in Lake Michigan, come back. That's like a 6-hour day. So I was only playing this summer maybe once, almost even once a month. And I used to play every week. But it's a big production getting out to volleyball. And I would love if beach volleyball was more prevalent in Lansing. But it's just not. And Marshall Park, I don't know if you ever driven by on Saginaw.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
yeah,
I drive by it all
there's
the
a-
time. There's a cop that stations just to the west of there.
Yeah.
With the,
I've seen them.
right.
But they have a great community there too, but not a lot of women's that, just high level, high competition
Right.
that play all the time. So,
So you're at Weberville, right?
yep.
And you're sort of as a social worker, but you move on from there.
I move on. Then I go to Okemos schools. Ben told me, it's like, I wanted that, because I was doing everything at Weberville. I wanted to go to a place that was more supported,
Right.
just tax dollars. I knew I'd be doing less. As a social worker, I'd be able to focus just on caseload students. And I was a special education social worker there. So I
Wow.
worked
Heavy.
in depth, yes, with the autism population, emotionally impaired, and helping teachers how to get the best out of these kids too, and
Right.
supporting the teachers. And then COVID happened. And then I was doing therapy on a computer with our kids in special education, which was
With
wild.
an Okemos?
Yep.
Okay. And how long did you do that?
I was at 4 years. I was in Okemos schools.
Really? At some point, you buy a cabin in
Yes.
the Smoky Mountains.
Yep.
Right?
That was during COVID,
Oh, it was?
2 months after.
What was it that attracted you? It was you and Ben, right?
Yep. Yeah. We bought the cabin together, of course, but my family had grown up in the Smokies. And when Gretchen Whitmer was like, no one's leaving their house, only for family. And I was like, well, I have family in Tennessee. I'm getting out of here. So
Did you have kids?
nope, no
No
kids.
kids.
Yes. So we were like, this is the best thing ever. I don't have to work.
Right.
I still get paid. Let's go to Tennessee on this mini vacation.
What do you mean you didn't have to work?
They shut down school for us for 3 weeks
Oh, okay.
as they figured out what this pandemic was.
Right.
So I didn't have to work. Ben, real estate got shut down also till
Right.
May 7th.
So you get in the car and drive to the Smoky Mountains?
We did. And we were kind of scared too because it was COVID and we would see cops and I would like go down in the front seat, like hide. We don't know if we're going to get arrested for being on the road, if we're going to get ID'd for being in Ohio or something.
Oh, because you left the state.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I called my family. I'm like, hey, just so you know, we're in Tennessee. They live like more west of the Smokies, but just in case, like the cops, like, why are you here out of state? I don't know. We thought of everything.
Right.
But we...
maybe you were worried about everything. Who knew what was going to happen? I remember thinking when I got my vaccination, I said, I'm never going to need this card again. What do I need it for? And then I was down in Miami at the Art Basel, and I couldn't get into the Art Basel because I didn't have proof of my vaccination.
Oh, shoot. I heard Vegas was doing that too with a lot of events. Yeah. I forgot about that.
So you go... I get why now that you went down there. It makes a lot of sense, but why? But you decide to buy a place?
We did. We were kind of sick of spending money for lodging, and Ben, being a realtor, he's like, let's look into buying a place that we can invest in. Interest rates are so low.
He's into his career about 4 or 5 years.
Yep. Yeah, I would say that about 6 years or so. Yep. Was a partner in real estate. And things are going
Was he
really
partnered with Dana?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And they were crushing it.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. And they had a great run together. And so I feel like we had enough that we were comfortable playing with when we would make that investment. Mm-hmm. And so interest rates were 3 to 4%. And we took advantage of it. And our house at the time we bought it for $70,000 over in Walnut Heights neighborhood in East Lansing.
Walnut Heights being kind of by Walnut Hills?
Yep. Like the McDonald Middle School, East Lansing Middle School.
Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. So on north of Albert?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So we had a very modest home there. We had money saved up, and we decided...
No kids.
And we looked at comps in the area, and the cabin we wanted was a little out of our pre-approved price range, but Ben was like, I'm not letting this cabin go. He like dissected all the comps in the area to present to the sellers, and we ended up getting it for $50,000 to $60,000 less than asking price.
Wow.
But they didn't have a realtor represent them.
Oh, man.
Which everyone needs a realtor.
There's a lesson to be learned.
Yes. Right? And we just, there's this company called airdna.co. And basically, if you type in an address, it'll tell you if that property will make money or not. And so it said 80% confidence rate. And I was like, I've always loved a vacation, run our, travel friend groups, and I'd love to see if this works. So I built up a community in the Smoky Mountains of people that could run it for me remotely.
Whoa. We're still buying this cabin, right?
Yeah.
So you closed on the cabin, right?
Yeah.
And was the plan always to do an Airbnb style house or?
Oh, never. It literally happened because we were escaping the Michigan spring.
But I mean, when you really are digging down and going to buy it, did you think, hey, if worse comes to worse, we can rent it out?
We were going to rent it out the whole time. We were going to make it a business.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Of course, in the back of our mind,
do you mind telling
me
how much you spent?
No, I don't mind.
Because I can look it up.
Yeah. It was going for, I believe, the asking price was $486.
Wow.
So 2,000 square feet, turnkey, fully furnished.
How many bedrooms?
3.
3 bedrooms.
Yep. 3 bathrooms, hot tub.
Yeah, and if you do it 80%, you have to put down, close to $100,000.
Yeah, and we only had to put down 10% as a minimum,
because $50,000, $40,000.
Exactly, and we did that.
So $440 at 3% interest is like $14,000 plus your mortgage payment.
Yep, and we didn't have to pay that mortgage till first of the months later. So though we were in the red for a while. But we did refinance our house, with those interest rates.
Yeah, I got you. So tell me, though, what was the idea that you would Airbnb it or rent it out long-term? Short-term or long-term?
Short-term rental.
Okay.
About 3 to 4 stays a month. And we knew that would be the only way we could pay the mortgage.
So like a week on, week off?
Honestly, there's days
No,
where...
I mean like 1 week stays. You're not doing just the weekend, or you were?
Honestly, I have a 3-night minimum. So sometimes
Okay.
people stay 3 nights. Sometimes I have an 8-day stay right
You've
now.
perfected it by now, but
Yeah.
back then, what did you do? Just anybody who wanted to come and stay could stay there?
Yeah, and then my prices, I'd say like the biggest mistake I'd make was underpricing. Not using
Were
a
you the one doing this?
yes.
Okay, no real estate license, right?
Nope, none. I figured it out as I went. I didn't use a pricing software, so now you can take
But you're back in Michigan
yep,
and you're managing this house, right?
in the Smokies. Yep.
And so if somebody spends 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, who cleans it? Who changes the sheets and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
I have a cleaning team that I found through Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they would go do it all.
And I have a set calendar with them, an app that notifies them when I have a turn.
And is that the way it started too?
No, it was me texting them manually on my calendar, my hard calendar on my desk.
Because it doesn't always work out as perfectly as you think. It's not always as seamless as,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You make a lot of mistakes.
And not having that pricing software in the beginning, it's like, well, I think I'd pay $250 a night over Christmas. Meanwhile, the demand for a 3-bedroom is around $800 a night, and people
Yeah,
pay it. And
right.
so those first couple years, not knowing about a pricing dynamic software for short-term rentals, leaving probably thousands of dollars on the table sometimes.
Okay, so, you're managing this place and just hoping that they're not stealing everything.
Literally,
And,
and breaking everything.
You're making the mortgage payment, right?
We are, and that's the rule of thumb too. You have a long-term rental in Lansing, you want to make 1% of every $100,000 you spend. And then for short-term rental, you want to make between 1.5%, 2%'s the sweet spot. If you can get 3, you're well for a while. So to, make the mortgage payment and the utilities on top of that and taxes
And so how did you do it?
Our first year was the COVID boom. 2020 to 2022, we crushed it. We made 3 to 4% of that.
How did you do on the appreciation side?
Um,
Did it go up in value?
so I hate to say this. In 2022, our 400, we paid 426, I think, walking away. It was worth 950.
Why do you hate to say it?
I hate to say it because everyone would be like, why did you not sell that? And
Has it gone down in value?
it's probably worth about 650 right now.
Oh, well, it's still a good deal.
It is.
The problem with that deal is you can't do enough of them, right?
Right. And the best time to buy real estate was yesterday, right?
I don't know. Timing is everything.
I know.
So, a lot of work, Airbnbs. It sounds a lot better than it really is, I think.
Yeah. It's a
Short-term rental is a lot of work.
a lot of work, a lot of moving
But you
parts.
didn't shy away from it.
I didn't. If anything, it became my personality.
Well, tell me about your short-term rental business. 'Cause
Yeah. So I made a TikTok account in 2021 because I was afraid. So I guess it goes back to my college days where I'm like afraid to fail. I'm still considered a part of the 1% that play college sports, but I'm not starting. So I'm a freak about that. And I'm wanting to do so much to fix it. So I created this TikTok account because I'm like, I am not going to let this Airbnb fail. We didn't buy this to not have it sit fully occupied. So what can I do to make sure it's the best and
Right.
people choose me and whatever? So I made a TikTok account because you could promote videos and songs and things like that.
Right.
And I also I did the Facebook thing, like, hey, I just bought a cabin, everyone go through me. And that doesn't work because Facebook is just with your network of your close friends, and Instagram was the same way. So TikTok was a way to reach. And at the time, TikTok was bopping. It was a young app. Even me, I was like, I feel so cringe being on here in my 30s, but I'm going to figure it out. But I reached hundreds of thousands and millions of people with my videos. And people would be like, I want to stay with you. And I was like, great. How do I make this happen? So I'm like, go to my Airbnb page. But then they were paying like $200 in service fees. And I was like, well, I don't want them to do that. So I went through like a friend who was in law school to look over my contract because I needed to make a binding contract. So if they would stay at my place, it looks legit. And then
Probably hadn't heard of the Abood Law Firm.
I don't think I could have afforded it at the time. But now, of course. But then I was like, then you can pay Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Facebook Pay, and pay to me. And they're like, that's kind of sketch, but I believe you. And so people started staying at my cabin that way. And then, the more I got comfortable in TikTok and then social media reels, I loved creating content. And then people want to know more about me as a host. So I'd share like my struggles in Airbnb or what I did in Airbnb. And then, I have had so many crazy situations in my personal life and sharing. And so it garnered community and audience and followers over time.
Right.
So then I became, I guess, an influencer. And I'm like,
Right.
And then I'm getting approached for brand deals and partners. And I'm like, this is insane. Because I'm still in the schools. Like I'm still a social worker by day. And this TikTok girl by night.
And so you basically cut out Airbnb out of the system, right?
I did. I still use them and they're amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted, if Airbnb ever died, just like TikTok almost went away, I need to put my eggs in other baskets to make sure that my brand can still stay out there.
And because it was working for your house in the Smoky Mountains, other people wanted you to manage their rental.
Yeah, and expose them also on social media.
Right.
So when I started doing that and getting some good money for social media, they call it like content economy. It's going to be big if it's not already. I don't know the trajectory. I guess we'll look back on it and see. But, several $100s for me to just make these 30-second to 60-second videos for them. But then after I would do the video, it was like kind of like, what now? Like, what now for these people? So then the business idea came in of, what if I am like an Airbnb and I can host all of these cabins that they know they're going to get videos for?
Right.
I'm a great host. I'm a super host on Airbnb, so I know what I'm doing. I don't manage them. I manage some of them, but in particular, I'm just a hosting website. I'm just the marketing, direct engine booking website for them. I'm just the SEO,
Right.
And so that's where it is now. We have about 44 cabins. I only manage one other one and my own. But
So how do you make money, and what are you doing for these other cabins?
Yeah.
For the 44.
For the other cabins, they can either pay a premium package rate where they pay me monthly to be on my site. And then if they want social media, they pay for that. The standard.
Tell me about what it means to be on your site then.
Yeah. So we have 500,000 followers for the Smoky Mountains. And so they know when they're on my site, they're going to get our followers in addition to whoever's getting reached in that moment about their cabins. So sometimes I'm in front of a green screen talking about their cabin. Sometimes I'm in the Smokies. I've had a couple work trips over the years, several, but in cabins, storytelling about them, and they get booked. And so the people that know that they'll be on my website, they know they're going to get that marketing exposure. And every booking I make for them, I'm getting 10%.
Wow. So like if I went to your site, what's your site called?
mamacabins.com.
And if I went there, I would see like a bunch of different reels in different people's cabins?
Yeah, good question. You would see a cabin website where you can book, I want a 1-bedroom cabin, a 2-bedroom, 3, 4, 5. And it's basically a cabin hub.
So if you said, if I wanted the premium package for my cabin, what would that cost me?
It would cost you $250 to sign up with us. Mm-hmm. You would pay $199 a month. And I would get, me and my business partner would get 10% of every sale we got for you.
And how do you know you got it? Because they went through your site?
They went through our platform. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And are you making more than you were making as a parapro?
I am making more now than I was as a parapro.
Okay.
But we're approaching we've almost made owners we launched in September of this year. And we've made owners $100,000 almost so far.
And how many? And you have 44 people that have signed up?
So we have 44 cabins. Some of those cabin owners have 10 cabins with us. Some have 3 to 5. Some have 1.
And How many followers do you have
About a 500,000
for Mountain?
for Mountain Mama Cabins between Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We have about 500,000.
Really? Are they all the same? Is there crossover or?
I think there are crossover, and then some are not crossover, which I find was the best way that if I'm going to utilize the social media thing, because, Facebook's a little older audience. Instagram is more of a curated audience where it's a little more polished than TikTok. I find TikTok is tough because it's just a very quick app that, I don't know, the reputability is just a little different on each site.
So do you make money having that many followers too, outside of the Mountain Mama?
Yeah, I was able to monetize on TikTok starting in 2024. So at the time, every 1,000 views I would get, it would be $1. So if I had a $3 million video, $3 million viewed video, it would be good money.
I can't do that math right now.
I think it's like around
30 grand?
It would be three.
3,000.
Yes. But those viral videos are very few, far in between. So overall, but then I started storytelling because I'm like, you know what? This is my out of the schools if I can really do this content creation thing, because having 2 kids and having a place to be at all the time was really horrible. It was just hard.
Right.
I'm between raising kids now. And so I started monetizing TikTok, made as much as a part-time job, and then I had enough. And then Facebook sends me a message, you're now able to monetize with us. So what I do, I cross post. So if I post to TikTok, I post that same video on Facebook, post it to YouTube, post it to Instagram. It's now a well-oiled machine. So
more like a full-time job or not yet?
it can be. So one thing I did dial back on is when you get approached by brands to like sell my things. And it's like, this is not aligned with what I want to do. I don't want to be, I've never even heard of this brand and they're offering me this much it's like, I want authenticity. Like people know that I'm not going to use this product. Like I don't want to sell it. It could be a full-time job if I started utilizing that. But to be honest, real estate with Ben at Elite Home Selling, now I'm doing all the marketing for him, all the socials, not just for him, but the whole team. That has been a full-time job.
So you're doing essentially real estate auxiliary work, essentially, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you decide, and Ben goes through a separation with his partner.
Yep.
And you decide, hey, I'm going to get my license. I mean, you're sort of surrounded by
realtors
and people in the real estate business.
Yeah.
And unfortunately or fortunately for you, in this business, you've got to be on social media. I mean, every realtor is doing something, right?
Yeah. And the ones who are hesitant about it will really see the effects, maybe not now, but in the near future. Visibility wins.
Right.
Exposure wins. And real estate.
I always think it's accessibility.
Yeah, and accessibility
It's
too.
accessibility. Like, it's the person that's the most accessible gets the most calls, right?
Yep.
And you feel like that person is accessible if you see them.
It's so true.
Right?
Yes.
It's not, I mean, maybe it's the same thing, but the more you can see people and the more you see somebody popping up on your social media, and all you have to do is
send them a message.
Send them a message, right? And but the other part is you've got to respond.
Yes.
But assuming you do that, that's the accessibility part.
Right. I actually had to set up for my Instagram account for Mama Cabins a automated, like if someone follows me, hey, thanks for following me. Go to our website. Let me know if you have any questions. And sometimes they do click, I have questions.
Oh, really?
So instead of answering every single question, I have AI do it for
me.
But
the real estate license, you studied, take that class.
I did.
And when did you get the license?
I got my license February 18th.
Oh, so last week.
Yeah, literally a week ago.
Wow.
But I finished my course in August. So yeah, Dana and Ben went their separate ways, just different, Ben wanted to grow his team, and Dana is so good, has always been great at real estate, and she has so much going for her too. And so they just went different ways, very amicable. And Ben's just like, the this is your time now, Brittany. I think like I could use you in the office doing operations. So I was like, okay, what does operations look like? And then he was considering
You
transaction.
were doing that for Kathy George.
Exactly, exactly. And I was like, so what does operations look like in real estate? And he's like, what about transaction coordinator? And I looked at that contract and I'm like, oh no, that is not me. But I would love to like promote you guys at Elite Home Selling. And so went from that very small team, and now Ben has about 10 agents. And so we have a great transaction coordinator now. We have a great office manager now. We have someone who helps us, stuff envelopes and do the cutting and for our promotions. And then we have selling agents and just agents who work in the field. And Ben's doing a lot of coaching and mentoring too with younger agents. And so I'm there to promote all of them and do all the socials. And so, I wouldn't say, that's not a well-oiled machine yet, but we're growing so fast. We're getting there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You're giving people jobs.
Exactly. And,
Right.
when one of our realtors, Dinah, she's so sweet. She just bought a new car. She's, I think, 21, 22. And Ben told me in the bathroom, he's like, Dinah just bought a new car. Like, we have to give her this lead. Like, he wants to make sure you can,
Right.
she can pay the car payment on that. And
Well, that's incredible. That's
yeah,
great.
it's fun.
So you're due in a few weeks.
I am. Oh my
You
gosh,
got a
you
new
reminded
job.
me.
You got a new job, maybe 6 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
You get a new job. Mm-hmm. But, where do you see this social media stuff going? I mean, what's your plan for that?
Yeah, I've learned, I've been doing it now for almost 5 years. And I've learned when you get momentum and you get viral videos, it becomes very easy to think like, I have to keep going. I have to keep making videos. And then you've probably learned this too, being more visible online. Some videos do well, and then the next day, like you might get a couple views and it feels sometimes like you're like, oh, that feels kind of embarrassing.
I honestly don't pay any attention.
Oh, good for you. Will you teach me that?
I don't, but I have people that pay attention to it.
Yeah. And I've just learned the longevity and consistency I'm okay with, I'm 35 now. If I'm 55 still making videos, that's great. That means something's still working and the business is still going. I don't think social media is going away in a sense of like, it's going to be the number one marketing tool for businesses. And I think if someone's not skilled at socials and if you're not buying someone to invest in to make your socials for you, I think those small businesses might fall behind because they're not getting the exposure as the other
What do you
ones.
think of this?
Well, obviously, like I see your exposure all over town, with the billboards and,
Right.
and
Well, what do you
then-
think of this podcasting thing?
Oh my gosh, I would love to do it one day. Like
Really?
you inspire me to. I'm like, look at this setup, like these mics. It's so clear.
I'm not looking for a compliment.
No. I mean, we've talked about that all the time in real estate. Like there's so many times where we want to get in front of the camera and just tell everyone what the market is doing or 3 tips you can do to make sure your home is ready to be listed. And sometimes you need more than just that 7-8 second video. You need a podcast.
Got a lot of people doing that on the.
Yes.
You got a lot of people doing that on a lot of realtors. Like,
Yeah.
all the mistakes you make.
Sure.
For me, I'm.
Yeah. What do you think of when you maybe sell your house one day?
No, I mean the thing is, it's like I was at the eye doctor this week, and he was showing me my X-ray, and I'm like, "Why are you showing me this?" Or when I go to get my oil changed, and they want to show me the oil, it's like,
Right.
I
Just do it.
I don't care. I mean, I don't want to see the physics of the physics of my eye or the oil. I just want to get it changed. So
Sure.
I mean, I think you and Ben are lucky that you're young and good looking and personable, and
Sure.
people would love to see you guys
Yeah.
on the social media. You've done great, and you say I've been doing this 5 years now. Well, 5 years is nothing.
It's nothing, right?
It's nothing. So
Yeah.
you got a bright future ahead of you. It's great to see that you've monetized your life, in a way.
Yeah. And honestly, the thing that really powered me to do that was the freedom I had with my kids then, where I didn't have to
You could be home.
I could be home more. I can be a present more. I'm not as nearly as stressed.
I mean, normally, I don't know, don't take this wrong, but usually, there's some sex appeal associated with, making a lot of money on the social media. And I obviously don't have that, but you've been able to do it with content, which is really impressive.
I'm so grateful for that because I think of that too. When I started at 30 and now I'm 35, say I get to 40, like if I started with sex appeal and sexiness, like that goes away. And if I had my brand based on that, I'm screwed. So I'm really grateful that it's more real estate, Airbnb, Smoky Mountains, wholesome family motherhood.
Do you plan out what you're gonna do on the video? Do you sit down and write it out, or is it completely impromptu?
It's both. Like even today, I'm sitting my to-do list for Elite Home Selling. I know we have a couple closings coming up. I know, so I'm like, and then we're going to announce a new realtor soon. So that's going Monday, closings Wednesday, something Friday. But in between, I like to make videos that I keep in the drafts where we can just have fill-ins because sometimes I do get inspired. I'm like, I got to make this now, or I have to talk about this now, and I didn't plan on it.
And how many videos do you like to post a week or
a week?
Day?
Yeah, I try to stick to one a day, but I'm not making them once a day. I have them saved up somewhere. I used to do 3 to 5 a day on TikTok, and then I tried to do that on Instagram, and I felt like viewer fatigue for me, which is fine because I have viewer fatigue for myself. It's like, oh, there's Brittany again. I just don't want the message to get lost because now I have a business to run, and I want them to use my business.
Religion seems to be a big part of your life.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It is, yeah.
And I see you wear the cross, and how do you feel about what? Tell me about how it impacts your life.
Yeah, I grew up in the church. I grew up in a church, very charismatic, Pentecostal, if you're familiar, where they touch you and like you see. I was a child watching adults fall over like in the spirit, and I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah,
but do I have to do that? So I kind of grew up like being taught if you believe in God, you're going to go to heaven, but you also can't sin or you're going to go to hell. And I was like, well, I don't want to go to hell, so I'm going to try not to sin. So that was like my only reason of like following God. But it wasn't until I like went through a lot myself, always knowing God was real because my parents always, that was like, I was lucky. I feel like if you want to be a Christian, I was lucky in a sense is my parents always, that was never a question. So, but I feel like the things I've gone through, just having that faith, that backbone of like God and Jesus to just feel like you have faith for someone to pull you out of something or that strength, that spiritualness that you feel, to not always take things on your own and do things on your own. And it's kind of like that whatever happens is supposed to be, but like my version of that is like God's will. So it's very similar, I guess, but it's made a huge impact on how I raise my kids, how I chose my husband, even my decisions that I make in business, even my friends that I have in circles. It's so easy, it feels like sometimes to let, just rumination and gossip or life's challenges really impact you. And when you have like God in your life, you're like, just have that peace that I feel like I need sometimes when I'm stressed and Ben and I argue or about something. And it's just like,
we talked a little bit about Dana and that breakup. It would be easy to get a little maybe insecure. You're obviously very good looking, and, so is she, and your husband's going to work. So, I mean, you obviously have a good relationship with Ben that you could, obviously trust him to do the things.
Yeah.
And you speak very highly of Dana, which is a, you don't always see that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. And Dana and she knew from the beginning because I didn't realize how insecure I was just in general until this beautiful woman and Ben want to partner together. And I was like, and they would kill it in real estate. And when that first happened, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to handle this. They're both on billboards together. They're going to get asked if they're
And
married.
you're going to get asked questions too.
Yes. And, and I was like, but I want people to trust Ben, but it was such a great relationship. But at first I was like, how am I going to handle this? But, they were together for 6 years and were so successful and great friends of our family. And, Dana and Mike are so generous and always.
Mike, I don't know real well, but I think he's a great guy.
Yeah, and we had just so much fun together and getting to know each other too. It's like, they partnered for the business and getting to know them eventually as friends too. And then I was like, there was after like probably a couple years of I could just breathe and, and
Good.
It was just really amazing. And it taught me too, like, no matter who it was like, I can trust my husband through this. And even if it wasn't even a partnership, when he works with clients, it's like, how am I going to be, this was like me, younger Brittany, like, how am I going to be when he has to work with this beautiful seller and this beautiful buyer? Yeah. And now it's
I think it was smart on Ben's part because, in the residential real estate world in this area, women are king.
Yeah, they crush it.
Don't they?
Yes. And I met Lynn Vandervenner yesterday and
really?
Talk about the queen.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, you are so incredible just to meet her in person. And the women crush it in real estate. And
one last question, and they signaled me. We've gone way over our time, but this has been great. But
yeah.
You talked about, your sort of the academic side, and you don't think you were very smart or whatever. You come off as very intelligent, and
Thanks.
you can develop some insecurities maybe from whatever happened in high school or college, but it seems to me that you're finding your own. Do you think that that little maybe insecurity of your academic side is you've found yourself and know that deep down inside? I mean, do you have that self-confidence that?
Yeah, I do. And it took a lot of going through the ringer and random things to I feel like what really measures that is resilience. Like, how am I going to it's not like, obviously bad things happen to all of us, but like, what am I going to do to get either out of this or accomplish this or conquer this? And I feel like even if I felt like at the time, I'm not very smart to start off my life with things I want. It's like I've always been resourceful and like, how can I accomplish my goals?
Some people can use that chip of how they did in school as a chip, like they weren't all A's, they weren't this or that.
Sure.
But man, you've done a lot, in an area where there isn't, necessarily a YouTube where you can pull it up. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe I don't know if anybody is doing what you do with the Mountain Mama.
Yeah.
Are there?
I don't know. I think I'm the first of my kind, and what makes me kind of worried a little bit is like Booking.com and Expedia. Mm-hmm. They're going to start paying influencers soon to advertise for their bookings.
I'm sure
and
they
I'm
will.
like, I started that. But also at the same time, hire me for that.
Right.
Partner with me.
Well, this has been great.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yes, and thanks for having me. It was awesome.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yes, you too.